Hey everybody, I hope you're having a great day. And today's video topic is something new for this channel, but it's something I want to be getting into more often, and that is really predictive programming, karmic retribution, and spiritual connections in film. And we really know, if you're tuned in, tapped in, that Hollywood loves to push their agenda down into your face, because that is how they program the population. And in today's video, I want to talk about a movie which I do like, albeit it does have this kind of programming, like every other movie. Recently, I went to watch Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and Two Towers in theaters. Something struck me whenever I was watching Two Towers that I'd never noticed before. I have realized something with Gollum, Sméagol, that I didn't realize before, and that is Gollum is literally demonically attached. He has a demonic attachment to the ring, which is attached energetically to Sauron. And if you delve into it, in the movie, it even explains that Sauron is a spirit at that point. So Sauron is the literal definition of a demon, vile, disembodied spirit. And also in the films, it says plenty of times that Sauron wants to shroud the world in darkness. He doesn't want light to exist anymore. He wants Middle Earth to be in ruin, to be dark, which reflects the ideology probably of the filmmakers. I'm not gonna lie, knowing about predictive programming. But it also has spiritual truth, because if you observe it, they have to tell truth because of karmic retribution, which I'll briefly explain. That is, these people that are into this stuff believe that as long as they show it beforehand to you, to the population, and people are still not oblivious, but they don't care. People are distracted, people aren't doing anything about it, people don't acknowledge it, then it takes the karma off of them, because they're showing you what they're doing, but you're not doing anything about it. But the tricky part is not to do anything about it physically. It really is true that the enemy isn't in flesh, the enemy is in spirit. So what you got to do is you got to work on yourself, get rid of demonic attachments you might have from your negative loops and patterns, the one that just you have that urge that it feels like it may not even be coming from you, and a lot of the times it probably isn't, especially if it's something that, like alcohol. You're an alcoholic, you don't like alcohol because you know it's shit for you, but you continue going back to the beer, you continue going back to the bottle. That could be a demonic attachment. And from personal experience, which for me was porn, because I continued watching porn even though I felt it lowering my vibration, but I prayed for my demonic attachments, my attachments to succubus, anything of the sort, to be completely removed, eradicated. And the pure light I invited in, and that was really sliced away, and it was such a weight off the shoulders, because that's what an attachment is. It's bound to you, influencing your decisions, but you got to still take accountability and acknowledge like what is happening. And that's what we're going to get into Sméagol and Gollum right now, because there's a scene in the Two Towers where they're in the mountains, and Sam, Frodo, and Gollum are Gollum. Sméagol is the real person, Gollum is the demon. Sam and Frodo are asleep, and this is where we really see Sméagol's attachment. Not for the first time, but it's really highly highlighted here. And that's where he's having the face-to-face with his attachment, and it has the reverse angle, and it cuts back. Gollum is trying to convince Sméagol to kill Sam and Frodo, but Sméagol doesn't want to. Sméagol's not having it from Gollum. He doesn't want to be listening to this evil advice anymore, which he's been doing for years. He's been honestly manipulated by his attachment to continue going deeper and deeper down into darkness. And but in this moment, he's taking accountability. Essentially, he doesn't want to be evil. He doesn't want to do bad. He truly inside wants to do good, and he continuously doesn't consent to what Gollum is telling him to do. Gollum starts getting really angry, but he can't really do anything about it, to be honest, because whenever you reject a demon and you have intentions of pure light, that thing must go away. It can't stay there. So the argument between Gollum and Sméagol and his attachment, the demon, keeps going on. But at this point, Sméagol is not as attached to the ring as he was before, because it's in Frodo's possession now. And that distance allowed him to kind of gather himself and build up inner strength and courage to defeat the darkness for the first time. because up to this point he's just allowed the ring, allowed Sauron, allowed him to get in a dark energy. And yeah, this is visible in the scene where it's literally he's being manipulated by the attachment, where it's like accusing him of all the bad things he's done to get him to continue to do more bad things. If you've done bad in the past, you got to acknowledge that, but that should be motivating you not to do bad currently in the present, because what matters is in this moment. And Gollum in this moment, I think he subconsciously understood that, and his spirit, his soul, wasn't having what Gollum was laying down. So he continued rejecting it, even whenever he got called a murderer, even whenever he got called a thief. He wasn't going to allow his past to define him and define how he keeps moving forward. So he says, "Go away," for the final time, and finally the attachment goes away, and Gollum is just truly joyous and in bliss. He's jumping around, hopping around. This is the first time he's felt free in probably centuries, because this guy's been living so long from that ring. But yeah, and that goes into evil can provide temporary stuff, like longer life, for example, for Gollum, or wealth if you're getting it from bad means, like say a drug dealer or something like that. But it doesn't provide long-term fulfillment. The only thing that could do that is God, pure light, and aligning yourself with God and pure light, and inviting his pure light in, but not participating in things they might give you material success or wealth or something like that in the meantime. But what matters isn't this world, the physical world, it's the spiritual world. So he calls it away, and it goes away, and he's on top of the world at this moment, and it's gone. And for this point on, he's back to his old self. He's more innocent than he's been in years. He still hasn't done any trauma work where he needs to definitely work on that. He's got a long list of trauma, probably a long list of healing to do. But his attachment to the ring seems to be faded. His attachment to his alter ego, his demonic possession, seems to be gone. However, there's a scene later on where I believe it's the Gondorians. Excuse me if that pronunciation's wrong. But Sam, Frodo, and Gollum, or Sméagol at this point, run into the Gondorians, and they take Sméagol, but Sam and Frodo run away. And Sméagol honestly thinks that he's been abandoned by Gollum, or by Sam and Frodo. And at this point, that past trauma, he probably has been abandoned in the past. He has other stuff that's happened, and that allows the demon to creep back in and regain control of him, repossess him. Not good at all. But that's how it happens. It happens from past trauma, and he goes back into those low vibration traits where he allows the negative thoughts about himself to run wild, that he's been abandoned, that they think he's worthless, that kind of thing. He allows that to happen because he's in a moment of weakness, and that's where it's most important to be strong, to ask for strength, courage from God, ask for pure light, ask for clarity, is in those moments where you're weak, so you don't resort back to low vibration state. But Gollum hasn't done the work on that, we'll say. So he gets repossessed, and at the end of the movie, we see that he clearly has negative intentions for them whenever he's leading them to the mountain. But yeah, that really is an honest depiction of what demonic attachment is, but it's hidden in plain sight in a movie, which is Karmic Retribution, honestly, because that stuff is real, but yeah, they don't want you knowing that it's real, but they'll put it in your face to laugh at you for Karmic Retribution on their end. Just take that stuff very seriously, though. Not the movies, but working on yourself, aligning yourself with a better version of yourself, your highest version of yourself, and anything that feels like it might be attached to something bad outside of you, that in a bad way, like that's not God. You gotta be willing to acknowledge that, admit it to yourself, and take action. Take action. Prayer is probably one of the best ways to take action, but outside of that, feeling your emotions related to it. But you can only overcome the demons, we'll say, whenever you're willing to admit that they're there to begin with, and admitting that your habits, your negative patterns or loops are bad, but not letting them define your future, and not letting the demon try to convince you so, essentially. If Because attachments are real. It's not like movies though, where it's like ridiculous. It's pretty subtle, where it's just like something outside of you comes into your train of thought, and some people go along with it because of like negative habits, negative loops, consistently going down that rabbit hole. But the more that you go down that rabbit hole, the more that has a hold on you, which is clearly exemplified through Sméagol. So if you notice something you might be attached to, something that's influencing you negatively, it's important to acknowledge it and cut it out then. Don't let it go on for, what was it, centuries? like Sméagol did? No, we don't live that long, but yeah, I guess time's even the more precious for us then. So take action now, and don't wait till you're at the point of what Gollum was at. Anyway, have a great day, guys. I just wanted to go through that, and maybe some more videos like this in the future. Have a good one.